Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Jaya Gauranitai, 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 Jaya Gauranitai. Nitai Gaura Haribo, 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 Nitai Gaura Haribo. Nitai Go, Nitai Go. Jaya Radha Madhava, Radha Madhava Radhe. Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Jaya Prabhupada. Jai Jai Prabhupada, 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 Jai Jai Prabhupada. Prabhupada, Prabhupada. Jaya Guru Deva, Guru Deva, Guru Deva, Jaya Guru Deva. Jai Jaya Guru Dev, Guru Dev, Guru Dev, Jaya Jaya Guru Dev. Guru Dev, Guru Dev. Jaya Vishnu Pat Paramhamsa Prabhajakarya Astota Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda Ki Jai. ISKCON Founder Acharya His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Namacharya Srila Haridas Thakur Ki Jai. Primchika Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Ki Jai. Shri Shri Radha Krishna Gopinath Radha Kun Shama Kun Giri Govardhan Ki Jai, Shri Vrindavan Dham Ki Jai, Shri Mayapur Dham Ki Jai, Ganga Mai Ki Jai, Yamuna Mai Ki Jai, Tulasi Devi Ki Jai, Samaveta Bhakta Vrinda Ki Jai, Harinam Sankirtan Ki Jai, Sankirtan Yagya Ki Jai, Bṛhat Mridanga Ki Jai, Gaura Brahmanande, Hari Hari Bo. All glories to the assembled devotees, Hare Krishna. All glories to the assembled devotees, Hare Krishna. All glories to the assembled devotees, Hare Krishna. All glories to Shri Shri Guru and Gauranga. All glories to Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Om Jnana Timirantasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshuram Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manopistam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamahyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Gurum Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagajatam Sagana Raghunatam Vitam Tam Sajivam Sadhutam Savadhutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Mukham karoti vachalam pangum langayate kiram Yat kripatamaham vande Shri Gurum Dinatarinam Paramananda Madhavam Shri Chaitanya Ishwaram Harihi Om Tat Sat Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Hare Krishna. First of all, welcome everyone to today's ecstatic study of Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam. So we are going to read Canto 3, Chapter 11, entitled Calculation of Time from the Atom, text 14. Saṁvatsara parivatsara iḍā-vatsara evacha anuvatsaro vatsaraśca viduraivaṁ prabhāṣyate 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 saṁvatsara parivatsara iḍā-vatsara evacha anuvatsaro vatsaraśya viduraivaṁ prabhāṣyate saṁvatsara parivatsara iḍā-vatsara evacha anuvatsaro vatsaraśya viduraivaṁ prabhāṣyate. This side. Saṁvatsara parivatsara iḍā-vatsara evacha anuvatsaro vatsaraśya viduraivaṁ prabhāṣyate. Saṁvatsara parivatsara iḍā-vatsara evacha anuvatsaro vatsaraśya viduraivaṁ prabhāṣyate. Saṁvatsara parivatsara iḍā-vatsara evacha anuvatsaro vatsaraśya viduraivaṁ prabhāṣyate. Word for word. Saṁvatsaraḥ, orbit of the sun. Parivatsaraḥ, circumambulation of Bṛhaspati. iḍā-vatsara, orbit of the stars. Evam, as they are. Cha, also. Anuvatsaraḥ, orbit of the moon. Vatsaraḥ, one calendar year. Cha, also. Vidura, oh Vidura. Evam, thus. Prabhāṣyate, they are so told. Translation purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Translation: there are 5 different names for the orbits of the sun, moon, stars, and luminaries in the firmament, and they each have their own saṁvatsara. Purport: the subject matters of physics, chemistry, mathematics, astronomy, time and space dealt with in the above verses of Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam are certainly very interesting to students of the particular subject, but as far as we are concerned, we cannot explain them very thoroughly in terms of technical knowledge. The subject is summarized by the statement that above all the different branches of knowledge is the supreme control of kāla, the plenary representation of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Nothing exists without him, and therefore everything, however wonderful it may appear to our meager knowledge, is but the work of the magical wand of the Supreme Lord. As far as time is concerned, we beg to subjoin herewith a table of timings in terms of the modern clock. 1 Chuti, 8/13,500th second. 1 Veda, 8/135th second. 1 Lava, 8/45th second. 1 Nimesha, 8/15th second. 1 Kshana, 8/5th second. 1 Kashta, 8 seconds. 1 Laghu, 2 minutes. One danda, 30 minutes. By the way, in some places it is also mentioned one danda is 24 minutes. One prahar, 3 hours. One day, 12 hours. One night, 12 hours. One paksha, 15 days. 2 pakshas comprise 1 month, and 12 months comprise 1 calendar year, or 1 full orbit of the sun. A human being is expected to live up to 100 years. That is a way of the controlling measure of eternal time. The Brahma Samhita 552 affirmed this control in this way. Yachak suresha savita sakala grahanam raja samasta suramurti rashesha teja yasya gyanya brahmati sambrita kāla chakro govindamadi purusham tambaham bhanjami. I worship Govinda, the primeval Lord, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, under whose control even the sun, which is considered to be the eye of the Lord, rotates within the fixed orbit of eternal time. The sun is the king of all plenary systems and has unlimited potency in heat and light. Prabhupada's translation again. There are 5 different names for the orbits of the sun, moon, stars, and luminaries in the firmament, and they each have their own saṁvatsara. Hare Krishna. Undoubtedly, today's shloka is also very technical. But it is interesting to know all these facts. Then we understand that our culture is really a science and not a mythology. Some time ago, His Holiness Japataka Maharaj mentioned there are 3 companies. They are competing to design our science museum of Vedic planetarium. And among these 3 companies, one company is thinking, okay, what you are going to exhibit, what you are going to present to the whole world, we can divide them into 2 parts. One part is the science, according to the modern science. Another part is your own thing, it's like mythology. So in this way, they lost. They lost the competition. Another company, they are depending on a person who has impersonal inclinations. So they also lost the competition. And now we understand from all this detailed description that whatever Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam is talking about, whatever Srila Prabhupada is presenting to us, is not a mythology, it is science. And it can be proved even by some of the figures of the modern astronomy and astrology. Actually, according to the division of the Vedas has 6 limbs called the Vedangas, and one of the most important limb is called astronomy and astrology. And for Lord's universal form, the big Virat Rup, this part is considered as the eyes of the universe, like the universal body. The eye is, of course, very important to a human being. Suppose we are handicapped or we are limp, but still we can function. But if we lose our eyes, then we are greatly incapacitated. So that means this part of the science, this part of the branch of the knowledge is very important. And some of the figures is very interesting because in this shloka mentioned the sun, the moon, and if we look in the ancient scriptures like Surya Siddhanta or Surya Shiromani, something like that, we find out even the distance and the diameters of the sun, the moon, and the earth, they have some very interesting interrelations. Like the size of the sun, the diameter is 108 times of the diameter of the earth, and the distance between the sun and the earth is 108 times of the diameter of the sun. And then the interesting thing is the distance between the moon and the earth is 108 times of the diameters of the moon disk, or we can say the moon globe. According to Srila Prabhupada, here in Mayapur, this TOVP, the Temple of Vedic Planetarium, we are supposed to show the whole world a chandelier, a chandelier of the structure of the whole universe. And we are going to display the different kinds of the orbits of the luminaries, the constellations, and the planets in the firmament, in the whole sky and outer space. And in 1976, April 27th, Srila Prabhupada in Auckland, New Zealand, wrote a letter to Swarupa Damodar. And he said, "My final decision is the structure of the whole universe is like a tree with roots upwards. And then there is a pivot, that is Dhruva-loka. And everything is revolving around this Dhruva-loka." And in that specific letter, Srila Prabhupada revealed very interesting details. He said, actually, we're going to display just like a tree. The main trunk is Sumeru mountain. And then the tree has many, many branches. And all these stars, planets, luminaries, just like the leaves, flowers, and fruits on the tree. And the tree is, when it's rotating, and all these things are automatically rotating with the tree. And actually, there are passageways connecting the different planets made of gold, copper, etc. And that is considered as the branches of the tree. Interesting, right? And also, Srila Prabhupada, in another part of his purport, he even mentioned that the Milky Way actually is a passage to go to Brahmaloka, the highest planetary system of our universe. When we were small, maybe we are looking at the sky and looking at the Milky Way. We are thinking, what is this? And where it leads to? And by Srila Prabhupada's mercy, now we understand it leads to the highest place in the whole universe, Brahmaloka. And then another interesting point I would like to point out is, like the past half month, we have been studying about the Lord's kāla chakra, the power of this time, and how the personality of Godhead himself is using the time factor to control everything, everyone in this world. But the Lord, he gives the control of this kāla chakra to his dear devotee Dhruva Maharaj. So Dhruva, he's stationed in this Dhruva-loka, and everyone else, all the planetary systems, is rotating around his loka, his Dhruva-loka. And let us remember how Dhruva, he went back to Godhead. In the whole Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam, there are only a handful of people, they went back to Godhead, and their stories is recorded in the Bhagavatam and taking one whole chapter. And Dhruva Maharaj is one of them. How he is going back to Godhead. He already conquered death. He already conquered time. Time cannot affect him. Suppose we are going to catch a train or flight. We have to pay attention to the time. No, we cannot become late. Otherwise, we are going to miss our train, miss our flight. But when the flower airplane came down to the earth and they're going to take Dhruva Maharaj back to Vaikuntha, what he did, he didn't run in a hurry. He took bath first. He took bath, nicely cleansed himself, put on new and clean dresses, and he put on tilak. Not only that, he made them wait. Let me decorate myself nicely. And he put on all his ornaments, his necklace, his earrings, his all kinds of decorations. And then he stepped on the back of death personification and boarded on his flight. In this way, we can have some hope. The death is going to attack every one of us in the shape of a lion. This is mentioned by Srila Prabhupada in his purport in the 5th canto, chapter 14, and verse 29 in the purport. But some of the people, they are very stupid. They're looking for help. They're worshiping somebody else. Whatever they are doing is like taking shelter from the vultures, from herons, from the crows, and from the Buddhas. But Srila Prabhupada said, how can you compare these creatures to the lion when the Lord is coming as death in the shape of a lion, and it's going to tear up everything? And how we can achieve our perfection. The whole context of this part of the Bhagavatam doesn't want to become all of us, make all of us become an expert in astrology or astronomy, but to show scientifically, especially based on the science of mathematics. This is a science. And the science we have to follow. If we follow the correct procedure of a science, and we can expect we get our desired result. And what is the desired result of the devotees we want to get? Of course, go back to Godhead. Back home, back to Godhead. But how we can do that? We are reading so much. This to increase our faith. Just like Srila Rupa Goswami, he mentioned in Lagu Bhagavatamrita. He said for the conditioned souls, the Lord presents two kinds of pastimes. One is Shrishta Leela, that is his creation pastimes. Another one is his Rasa Leela. But mainly the Rasa Leela, we cannot digest from our present situation. So mainly we have to learn the Lord from Shrishta Leela. We have to understand how great he is. In the Sri Ishopanishad, the Lord is called as Paribu. Paribu means the greatest. So we have to understand how God is great. Then we start to serve him, we start to worship him. Slowly, slowly, we come to the stage mentioned in the Dhammadarshtakam. Then we can worship him without this awe and reverence. But before that, before we even have this awe and reverence, we have to cultivate. We have to cultivate the mood to appreciate his greatness. Because we know how powerful is the planets. If any of you, I believe, contacted a little bit of knowledge of astrology, you would know the different planets has a great influence on our human beings. Some planets are considered very auspicious, like Venus, like Mercury. Most of the time, Mercury is very auspicious. But sometimes when the Mercury is in the period of retrograde, and it would bring some disaster to the Earth planet and to the people. And mentioning about Mars, Mars is almost always inauspicious. It gives you a lot of pain and distress. So when we are in the conditioned stage, we're influenced. But there is a way to transcend it. If we are trying our best to engage ourselves in the devotional service, we can transcend all this. I have a personal experience I would like to share with all of you. More than 10 years ago, I bought a ticket. I want to go back to my own country. And before that, I met Devarshi Prabhu. The old Mayapur residents would remember Devarshi Prabhu. He is a very famous astrologer, devotee astrologer. He lives in Goshala. And he had a chat with me, so I told him I'm going back to my country on such and such date. He quickly did a calculation, and he told me, oh, it's not very good for you to go on this day. He said, if you go on this day, everything you are going to do is going to be delayed, and this would give you unlimited trouble. I said, what shall I do? He said, you have to change the flight. I go back home, I'm checking the price. The price is too high for change the date. So I thought, pray to Krishna and let's see. But as he predicted, I got the first delay as soon as I arrived at the airport. And it never happened before. And also, in the so many years after that, it also never happened. In the airport, they arranged two flights, the passengers of two flights going from one boarding gate. It's very confusing. somehow or other, I boarded on an airplane. I feel it's so strange. Before, I could see so many like Asian faces. Why they're full of people with big mustache? And then the airplane starts to move. And they displayed in the front of the airplane a big screen. I saw many clouds and one mosque. And there's some Arabian letters and the loud sound resonating in the airplane saying, Allahu Akbar. Then I realized I'm on the wrong plane. So I screamed. I called the people who were attending the airplane, said, I'm on the wrong plane. Let me off. They tried to communicate with me, but language problem. I don't know what they're saying. And in my foolish and simple mind, I thought I just get off this one, then I could get the other one, because the two airplanes are coming from the same boarding gate. But to my surprise, when I get off, I find everywhere is dark around me. I couldn't see. And from far, I could see a few other airplanes, but I don't know which one I should go to. In that condition, what shall I do? I'm standing in the darkness. I start to chant, Namaste Narasimhaya. And then when I almost finished, a man from nowhere with a torchlight came in front of me and asking, do you like any help? I said, yes, please help me find my airplane. And finally I got on board, on the right one. At that time, I believed the power of Lord Nrsimhadev. I believed the power of the Lord. Haribo! Actually, in Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam, in the 11th canto, there is a famous chapter talking about the son of the Avanti Brahmana. And from his story of his personal life, he understood. At the beginning, he's very rich, and then slowly he became poverty-stricken. At the end, he got very, very important realization. What did he say about his realization? He said that actually, Nayam janome sukhaduka hetur. Nayam, not. I am Jana. I am this Jana people. This people is not hetur, cause. My. Sukha dukkha. These people are not the cause of my sukha and my dukkha, my happiness and my distress. And also, na deva tatma, graho karma kālaha. And neither the demigods, nor the graha means the movement of the planets, nor karma itself, nor kālaha is the cause of my suffering and my happiness. And then he further thought, Manaha, man, the mind, param, the supreme, karanam, the reason. And the mind is the supreme reason. The mind is the supreme reason for me to suffer and feel happy in this material world. And this is told by the authorities according to the scriptures. Amananti, according to the authorities. And therefore, he said, samsara chakram parivartayetya. So perpetually, I am rotating in this cycle of birth and death. The sound of Avanti Brahmana is very, very important, because whatever he is singing, some shloka became sannyasi's initiation mantras. Like when we get our second initiation, we have to chant Gayatri mantra. And then when someone gets sannyas initiation, they have to chant the sounds of Avanti Brahmana. This is important realization of him. This proves to us the devotee can transcend the limits of time, the influence of astronomy and astrology based on the orbits of the movements of all the luminaries, planets, and constellations in the firmament. This gives us some hope. But somehow or other, sometimes we are feeling we are doing performing some devotional service, but we don't have that kind of feeling. Like we are not feeling we are really connected. Isn't that so? I saw so many heads nodded. Very honest devotees. I pay my respects to all of you. I am also one of them. And just like a few days ago, I was at home translating all the Srila Prabhupada's disciples, their offerings to Srila Prabhupada. When it's turn for Hari Sauri Prabhu, when it's turn for Rameshwar Prabhu, when it's turn for His Grace Jananivas Prabhu, they are crying, their voice is choked. And at that time, and some of the audience, they send me messages, actually a lot of messages in the chat box. They are saying, how can they have such deep feelings toward their Guru Maharaj? How we cannot have that? What makes that difference? Now we are going to analyze what makes that difference. Is that because of the time? Because they were born at the time that when our founder Acharya is still on the planet and doing his manifested pastimes, and we are in a different time? Not so. The real difference is our faith. I especially remember Rameshwar Prabhu mentioned, Srila Prabhupada, he conquered time. He's writing 8 or 9 books in a year. When he mentioned this, he is literally crying. And I am also crying when I'm translating this part. I am crying because how much they are appreciating the sacrifice that Srila Prabhupada made for all of us. And when we are sleeping, or when they are sleeping, we can imagine that Srila Prabhupada is not just sleeping and he is translating. He gave up his personal comforts. And so according to Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur's instructions, we have 4 kinds of faith. These are 4 different stages. And the first stage, we worship the Lord because of bhaya, because of fear. This is also related to whatever we are discussing today. The time factor makes everyone become fearful because we are afraid of death. We are afraid of disease. We are afraid of the pain. We are afraid of poverty. Then we choose, okay, now I worship this one. I worship Krishna because I heard if you worship him, then you are no longer suffering. So this is the first stage of our faith. And then the second stage is asha. Asha means material aspirations. Oh, I want to have a good sense of duty. Because we heard our spiritual authorities, they said, they are ordering us, we have to get up early. We have to be ready before this Brahma Muhurta, before the 48 minutes of the sunrise. We have to be ready for Mangal Arti and then chant and then the Darshan Arti and Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam class. So we are doing everything as a sense of duty. This is the third stage. But then the best one, the fourth stage of faith, is raga. That raga comes like a spontaneous attraction. Now we are going to analyze something very subtle in between. It's not difficult for us to progress from the bhaya stage to the asha stage, from the asha stage to this third stage, sense of duty. But from the sense of duty to the fourth stage, it's very difficult. That is what it takes. That is a process of sadhana. And here, Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur gave us a very nice example. The example of a match. The example of a splint. We have to ignite the fire. Actually, all of us, each of us, has a very, very deep relationship with Lord Krishna. And all of us has a deep relationship with our Guru, with Srila Prabhupada, our Param Guru, with Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur. But all the things are covered. And we need to dig it out. We need to make it manifest. And by which method we can make it manifest? That is by igniting it by a match. Igniting it by a splint. And that process is compared by Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur as the sadhana process. So we try to think, we try to retrospect. Oh, I've been doing our devotional service like maybe 3 months or 3 years, that is not enough. Srila Prabhupada once is giving a lecture and he mentioned like every day of your sadhana is counted like 1 cent, and you have to accumulate when you have 100 cents, like $1, and then when you have $100, and that time you can achieve perfection. And just maybe 2-3 years before the disappearance with Grace Pankajangi Prabhu, he also mentioned this point. So he said, I am calculating. I almost got $100. And he's praying on the disappearance, Srila Prabhupada, let me go back. Let me go back. And so let us think how we are performing our daily sadhana. This sadhana, one time I'm looking a Bengali book, like how to learn Bengali. And it's mentioned sadhana means in English efforts. That means we have to make some intentional efforts. We have to scratch this very hardly. Now is Kartik month. Every day, almost every day I come to temple, I offer lamp plate. And sometimes, maybe due to my hands are catch by water, because before that I did some achman. At that time I cannot make the fire manifest. And one time I tried so many times, I'm scratching, fire just doesn't come. And then one security Prabhu, he very mercifully, he said, let me help you. And he did once, and I got fire. I got the whole lamp, and properly I can offer it to Radha Madhav Panchatat and Sri Sri Prahlad Nrsimhadev and Srila Prabhupada. So that is also like us. Sometimes we are too weak. We cannot nicely perform our sadhana. We need somebody else help us to ignite the fire inside us. Because suppose this is wood. In this wood, the fire element already exists inside the wood. So I use fire or splint to ignite it, and it will be on fire. But something else, this is like copper or brass, or maybe some steel things, the fire elements not present inside. And how much I ignite it, it's not going to be on fire. Then we think about ourselves. Because we already have this deep relationship with our Guru, with Param Guru, Srila Prabhupada, and with all the parampara, the acharyas in our disciplic succession, up to Lord Sri Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Then the only thing we need to do is try our best to ignite the fire. 1 time, 2 times, 3 times, many times, and with the help of the other person, with another devotee. And finally, we can ignite the fire, and we can uncover this deep relationship. Once we uncover that deep relationship, we feel that same connection. And there is another trick in this part. And Lord Krishna, he has material energy and spiritual energy. And there's so many kinds of methods to divide them. One way is divide them into Chit Shakti and Achit Shakti. And in this Chit Shakti, inside is Krishna's spiritual potencies. There are 2 Shaktis very, very important for us. That is Samvit Shakti and Haladini Shakti. And if we want to achieve that bhava stage, if we want to become like them, we also feel our deep relationship with our Guru Parampara, with our founder Acharya. We have to be connected through Krishna's, this Chit Shakti, mainly composed of Samvit Shakti and this Haladini Shakti. But in which way we can be connected? As long as we have this selfish mentality of satisfying our own desires, our own sense gratification, we cannot be connected. Although we see the powerhouse of Krishna consciousness, we can see it's there. It seems like we put our plug in this extension cord, but it's not really connected. We got some short circuits or something. It's not really happening. We have to clean our dirty things in our hearts. In another sense, we have to reach the stage of anartha nivritti, then we can be connected. And we feel that ecstasy of love. We get to the stage of bhava. Don't think of bhava as something unreachable. Recently, when Japataka Maharaj is giving classes, he said, at least you should aspire. In this lifetime, you should get to the stage of bhava. This is something achievable. Please think about it. Something achievable. And how we do it, Prahlāda Maharaj, he already gave us the answer in Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam, Canto 7, Chapter 5, verse 23 to 24. Sri Prahlāda Vacha, Shravanam, Kirtanam, Vishnu Smaranam, Padasevanam, Archanam Vandanam, Dasyam Sakyam Atma Nivedanam, Itipam Sarpita Vishnu, Bhaktis Chennava Lakshana, Kriyeta Bhagavati Yatha Tammaneditam Uttamam. Whoever can perform all these 9 angles of devotional service, I consider Sri Prahlāda Maharaj Tammanid, I consider him as the topmost person who has the highest intelligence, who is most wise. And then, by performing these 9 angles of bhakti, so this is not some cliche, because we can analyze some subtle things inside, and you feel so interesting. Then you take another new look at whatever you're doing, and with renewed enthusiasm, we can do the same thing, but it's different. The effects is different. Another place in Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam, in 9th canto, 1st chapter, is mentioning what Ambarish Maharaj is doing. He is perfectly demonstrating the 9 angas of bhakti mentioned by Prahlāda Maharaj in the 7th canto. Whatever Ambarish Maharaj is doing, Savai Mana Krishna Padara Vindayo, Vachansi Vaikunta Gunarnu Varnane, Karo Hari Mandira Majanadishu, Shooting Chakara Chuta Sadkato Daye, Mukunda Linga Laya Nadursho, Tat Pritya Gatra Sparshinga Sangaman, Granam Chatat Pada Saroja Soda Be, Srimad Tulasya Rasanam Tadarpite, Pado Hare Ketra Padanu Sarpane, Shiro Rishi Kesha, Padabi Vandane, Kaman Chadase Kama Kam Yaya, Yatotma Shloka Janashraya Ratihi. So Ambarish Maharaj, he is engaging his mind, always meditating on the lotus feet of the Lord. And he used his words, his ability to speak, always talking about the pastimes of the Lord and the pastime of his devotees. And he always using his hands in cleansing the Lord's temples. And he always used his ears to hear everything told by the Lord himself and everything told by his dear devotees. He used his eyes to take darshan of the holy places, the temples, and the deities. And he's using his sense of touch to hug the deities and to hug the body of the Vaishnavas. He used his tongue to taste, to relish the prasadam offered to Krishna. And he's using his sense of smell to smell the flowers and tulasis offered to Lord Krishna. And he using his legs, walking like doing parikrama, and using his head to pay obeisances to the Lord. And especially, he's engaged 24 hours in the Lord's devotional service. Not a moment passed that he's not thinking, I have to do something to please the Lord. And then what is the result? Janashraya Ratihi. When he did everything, then this is a way to increase our rati, to increase our attachment. And we should become like who? This jhana, Srila Prabhupada, he translates in the word for word. He said, this is someone like Prahlāda Maharaj. Although you cannot find any trace of Prahlāda Maharaj in this context, either in the Sanskrit or in the translation of the Purport. But Srila Prabhupada specifically translated this jhana into Prahlāda Maharaj, someone like Prahlāda Maharaj. That means we can solve one big problem now, because our tendency, our mentality is being born in this material world. We are always thinking, this thing, I like it, so I will do. And the other thing, I don't like it, then I don't do. Then we are waiting for the magical moment. Maybe one day, Krishna or Guru, they've used their magical wand to put on our head, and then we suddenly get the taste. Maybe, but that is not for sure. Let's start from our sadhana. We have to perform all these 9 angas. And then at the end, we get this rati. We have to do it. We have to practice it. Then we know what is perfection. We have to do it first. Then we get the taste. It's not that you are getting the taste first and you are feeling like you want to do it and then you start to do it. No, vice versa. We have to completely think this whole thing all over again. We have to just first do it. By the order of the previous acharyas, by the order of our guru, by the order of the scriptures, we have to start to do it. And we have the determination, like Sri Rukmini Devi. Rukmini Devi, she is Mahalakshmi. But then, when she's writing a love letter to beg Krishna to show favor upon herself, what she said? Yasyangri pankajara panamaham to vanchanti uma parivatsaraḥ yarhyam bhujakshana labhaya bhava prasadam jaham masum vratakusham shatajamma bhishat. Especially in the last line, shatajamma bhishat, shatajamma, 100 times of birth. And she would like to wait for 100 times of birth. And every birth time, she would like to perform great austerity to wait for the arrival of the favor of her beloved Lord Sri Krishna. Even she has such kind of determination, and she would like to wait for 100 birth times. What about us? We are only performing our devotional service for a few months, for a few years, maybe for a couple of years, and then we are expecting something very great. Not like that. We have to continue. We continue. And then, at the end, the taste will come. And in some other special cases, maybe we would get Krishna's special mercy. Like Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he showed a special mercy to one of his associates that Mukunda is talking some other philosophies with the other people. When he's mixing with yoga people, he's talking about yoga. He's mixing with some Mayavada people, and he's talking about Mayavadi philosophy. Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, okay, tell him, for 1 million lifetimes, he cannot see me anymore. Then he's jumping, and everyone was shocked. How can you become happy? 1 million lifetimes you cannot see the Lord. He said, at least I got hope. I got hope. Then when Mahaprabhu heard about this, said, let him in. Immediately he transcended 1 million lifetimes. And in Bhagavad Gita it is mentioned, Bahunam jamanam mante jnanavammam prapadyam te vasudeva sarvamiti samahatma sudurlabha. After life and lifetimes of searching, then finally you realize, Vasudeva Sarvamiti, I should worship Lord Vasudeva. But why not now? A devotee can tell us, please worship Krishna, Supreme Personality of Godhead. And immediately a devotee of ISKCON can help us to transcend hundreds, thousands, maybe trillions of lifetimes. Then we are more easy to achieve our success. Hare Krishna, 2 minutes left. Any short questions, comments, corrections, please? Mike? Yes. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Jalangi Radha Mataji. Thank you very much for the lecture. You mentioned that we have to practice the 9 angas in order to get the taste. Elsewhere in Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam, it is mentioned that one can reach perfection only by practicing at least one. How to understand that? Thank you.
Hare Krishna, thank you for a nice question. Actually, at Prabhupada's time, devotees also Prabhupada the same question. And the answer is, We are not like Haridas Thakur. We cannot concentrate ourselves on simply one anga. If we just simply sit in a solitary place to chant, we become bored. So Prabhupada gave us a variety of activities. We chant, and then we do kirtan, we read books, we do archan, we do something else, parikrama, and we take prasadam. So for us, we in this Kali age, in this Kali Yuga, in this age of darkness, everyone's agitated. We cannot fix our mind upon something for a long time. So therefore, we need to have a change. And when we have a change, we can choose from the other angas. Hare Krishna. Thank you. Yes, next.
Thank you very much for your wonderful analysis about waiting and so many years, lifetimes. You gave examples. But I request you all to come at 6 o'clock at TOVP for Harinam and chant and dance and experience the mercy of Lord Gauranga immediately.
Hari Bol. There's a TOVP outside. You like to say something? Please, Mike. Yes. That is instruction of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Shuno, Shuno, Nityananda, Shuno Haridas. And then what he said? He said at the end, Bolo Krishna, Bhajo Krishna, Koro Krishna, Shika. Very fast. Yes, one question. Last question. Thank you. 5:30. Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you. You were mentioning something about the astrology that, so many devotees, they take faith in astrology, but then you said that even if you do devotional service, then you counteract all these planetary systems, which are affecting us. And now, can you explain a little bit, how this trick, about?
Okay,
yeah.
Hare Krishna. Thank you. It's also a very nice question. When we counter the effects of the astrological defect, it's not that something is going to happen like a phenomenon. It's not going to happen. It's going to happen, but we are going to be equipped by the mercy of Guru Parampara and the Lord, the strength to face it, to confront it. Like maybe due to some Mercury retrograde, there's a big jolt or some tsunami happen, but we are not going to be disturbed by that. Just give you a very simple example. I remember one time in my country we had a sangha, and then it's time for the spiritual master to leave. Everyone's crying. He's going to leave. We hope that he can stay for 1 minute more, 5 minutes more. Just at this time, it starts to rain. It's such a heavy rain, and the guru cannot go. His flight also got delayed, so he stayed for 2 more hours. So according to some astrological calculation, maybe you're going to face some adversities. But when this adversity comes, a devotee, he has been equipped by Krishna, a special ability to face it and to turn it over. And he could see the mercy of Krishna. He would relish this moment of adversity and increase his faith and his love. And so that becomes more beneficial. Like in the 10th canto, this Lord Brahma is praying, Tatenu kampam shusamikṣamano, bamjan evatma krita vipakam, ritvagva pupirithatan namaste, jivita yo mukti pade sadhayabak. In the Purport, Srila Prabhupada mentioned, for devotee, the adversities actually is an opportunity for us to grow, and then we can get more strength. And we see all the mercy behind all these things. In this sense, we transcend. It's not like on Kurukshetra, when Krishna is trying to help Arjuna, and he said, okay, Arjuna, now you take rest. I will fight for you. Okay, I make all of them disappear. You don't have to face them. No. Krishna spoke the whole Bhagavad Gita, and then Arjuna, he got this strength. He can conquer the whole world. Hare Krishna. Thank you. Grantaraj Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Gaura Pramanande, Hari Hari Bo. Hare Krishna.